Hey YouTube land, Tech Andrews here, doing another action figure review. Now I'm doing a multi-figure review, even though these figures come one per box, at least in this version of the container that I have here to my side, or to their side I should say. So what this is this is one of the Mr. Beast figures. I know you're probably yawning or groaning already when I mention that name. I know some people don't dislike the guy. I know he started off doing like philanthropy stuff and he was quite good at it, and then he kind of sidestepped into kind of a whole bunch of other things, and he did a figure line. Now this isn't the first of the figure lines he did a few other ones, but this is kind of like a 4-inch 1/18 scale stuff. And I picked up one guy first, which was this guy back here, and I was having a look at the other ones that were on the little thing that's inside the box, which we'll have a look at in a second. And there was a couple of really cool designs, and I kid you not, they do look pretty cool, even though I'm not a big fan of, you know, Mr. Beast. I wouldn't be the biggest fan of Mr. Beast. I don't even know him that much, other than I know that he used to money giveaway stuff or would pay for things, and then I think he did a, what was that, what's the show, fucking Squid Games. He did like a Squid Game style game where people played games without the death. Actually, I should point that out. It didn't have the excruciating killing of all the contestants, but it was like a, basically it kind of reminded me of Takeshi's Castle, where they would get, like, you know, do really tough stuff and then get knocked out, as in knocked out of the rounds, not knocked out physically, unless people did get knocked out physically. I do not know. I did not watch any of that stuff. But this is the box that single figures come in. There's a multi-pack one, which I think comes with 2 figures, and it's basically just a bigger version of this. And then you have like 7-inch scale figures or 6-inch scale figures. But there was 1 or 2 in this set that I really wanted. I got one of the ones I really wanted, and I'll go through that one when I get it. I'll go and describe it. But it comes with this thing that you open up. There is a little thing on the top of this as well. You have to, there's like a bags inside that you can't see, because these are pretty much blind bag stuff. And there is QR codes on this thing as well. Is there on the back of the box? No, there is QR codes on the sheet that's in here. I believe there is, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. Right, there is a QR code on this. So this is Mr. Beast Lab Hybrids, and then it's the collector's guide. Tells you which ones are common, rare, ultra rare, limited edition, and premium edition. So I'm not sure what the difference between premium and limited. I would imagine limited would be harder to get than premium, but there you go. There's only one limited edition, which is this kind of cool chrome, hyper chrome panther thing, and then the premium edition is the Hyper Beast. Now this says it's available in the single pack, whereas this is in the mega pack. So there is a color code chart here on the back, and then there's one up here as well for which ones are rare. The color code on the back. So the red ones are in the single packs, like the one I got. Then there's a purple dot, which is multi-pack, and then the green is a mega pack. I don't think I've seen a mega pack. I've only seen the multi-packs, so I don't know what the mega packs look like. But for the figures, you have Shockclaw Panther, which is a common, I believe. Yeah, the blue ones are a common. Silverbite, which is, utilizes some of the parts I have on one of the figures. You have Spike and Sprout. Was this one of the ones I wanted? No, this is a common as well. I believe the one I wanted is, yeah, it's this guy down here, the toxic one, but he's a ultra rare, I want to say. No, sorry, just rare. One of the guys I got, or actually these two are the 2 I got, they're commons. So it's Razorhead and Rockhide. I have no idea what any of this stat line stuff on the bottom is or does. I just like the figures. This is the figure I wanted to try and get, the Shadow Coil, the kind of half snake guy, because it looks really, really cool. And it has like a cobra head, and I'm kind of like a fan. This is one of the other ones I'd love to get, the Tyranniclaw. He's like a dinosaur dude made from bones. There's another version of him. These two are rares. This is the ultra rare, which is Tentalock, which is, again, one of the ones I wanted. It is interesting to note that, I'm not sure if you can see this, but on the image, it looks like it's a solid color, but in reality, the figure is actually translucent. And then the other ultra rare I got, I believe ultra rare? Yeah, ultra rare, is this Arachno Ape, which isn't too bad. And then there's Shadow Web. I want to get him, but unfortunately it is multi-pack. Or is it the mega pack? Which one is it? Green, purple, multi-pack. And then the Plasma Panther, which is pretty much probably like Shockclaw, but in translucent, is another multi-pack only. And yeah, there is more. If we flip around to the other side, there's some cool ones on this side I'd love to get as well. So you got Beastabot, or whatever, you know, it's like B3A5T, which is supposed to be Beastbot. It's one of the multi-arm ones. It is pretty cool looking, but it is ultra rare, and it's only available in the multi-packs. The Atomic Tyranniclaw is one of the cool looking ones. He is a... which one is green? Green is rare. Yep. Green is rare. Again, only available in the multi-pack. It is basically it's the dinosaur guy, but in glow in the dark, which is kind of what's really cool about it. Then you got Toxic Spike and Sprout, which I believe is the same as the other. Was it Spike and Sprout? The only difference is I would imagine it's either translucent or it's glow in the dark, but it doesn't indicate it's glow in the dark. I'd imagine translucent. And you got like Wildfire, Echo Wing, Iceberg, Rockhide, which is probably I think I've seen this one online for sale through eBay. Some people have them loose up on sale, and it's like a crystally blue translucent version of the Rockhide I got. Gold Pantheon is another rare. This guy is Hyper Beast. He's the multi-arm guy, which is pretty cool looking. He's one of the few. Actually, I think he's only one of two guys that are multi-armed, which is pretty interesting. Him and that premium version. And there's another Serpenthaur, which is like another snake guy, but he's made, I think he has the kind of lion tiger head, but has the snake stuff, and he has the wings off Echo Wing up here. Then you got Dreadhowl, Grizzfang, and Buzzblade. Now, if I remember correctly, is it Beastbot? Which is the ones that are only available in the... Yeah, so the Mega Pack ones are these Hyper Beast. He's only available in that. And the Toxic one and these ones along here with the green on them, they're only available in the Mega Pack, which I have not seen. And if we stuck through all that, we'll get into the figures. So bear with me a moment. We'll have a look at the figures and we'll get them all set up. So here are the figures in all their little glory. I said one of these guys, well, I wouldn't say two of them were kind of ones I was interested in, especially this ape guy, although it was more the other version with the kind of spider legs. I would have preferred him, but I didn't realize at the time he's part of you have to get him as part of the multi-pack or the mega pack, whichever one it is. So I'm happy enough with this. I will say I'm a little itty bit disappointed, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Why? Now, most of these figures are done in the kind of 4-inch scale, 1/18 scale. So we'll bring a tape measure first and go through all that. So you can see the squid guy. I'm not even going to call them by their names. The squid guy is just around a little bit over 4 inches. The shark head looking dude is around 4 inches as well, maybe a little higher because of that. The spider ape dude is a little bit lower than 4 inches, just by a tad. He's actually the smallest out of all of them. And then the rock rhino guy is around 4 inches, maybe a tad above, just because of the way the head is shaped. But they're all around the 4-inch mark. So if we bring in someone who is in the 4-inch scale, bring in old Steve Harrington here from the the Stranger Things line. So you can see how he gears up next to these, if I can get him to stand, because his feet are all over the place for some reason. Come on, Steve, you want to stand? I might have to rest you against one of these guys. Oh, there we go. You see how a kind of standard 3 3/4 inch, and we've got the 3.75, because that is the scale of the Jurassic World stuff. So you can see how, actually if I just bring these back attached, you can see everyone. You can see how they scale up with the figures. So we will get into articulation. Now, articulation is the same for the most part across the board, but there is a few exceptions. There is a kind of gimmick with these things, that they are mix and match. So we'll just move these guys out of the way, and I'll get into the arachno ape. So if I press the little button on the back, his legs pop off, his head should pop off as well, and then the arms come separately. So the way you get them in the bags, they're like, you get the torso, one arm, you get the legs, and then or sorry, it's the head on one arm, torso on one arm, and then the legs come together. I think that's the way they had them packed. It could be different across the board, but the way it is, you just assemble them, plug this in, plug that on, and then the arms don't have the spring gimmick, they just plug in. Similar to how the Master Universe Origins kind of stuff works, they just plug into a little clip and hold in place. But it is interesting. I do like this guy, he's kind of cool. I won't say that he's not that cool. The articulation across the board for the upper torso is all the same. So when you get to the lower torso or the legs is where things kind of differ. So for these guys, for the upper torso, you have the arms can go out that much. You've got a single jointed elbow with a swivel. So you got a bend on that. There is nothing in the wrist. The arms are kind of sculpted to hold stuff on some of the figures, not at all. So the ape guy has kind of a slightly open hand. So if you have an accessory of some kind, he can kind of hold stuff. Not well, but he can. Throw in one of the shock sticks. You just have to kind of finagle it a bit. So you can kind of hold things. Same with the shark head guy. The squid dude and rhino guy do not have any hands for really holding anything. It's in the legs is where this guy was disappointing. Oh, and I should also note, on the back of these things, there's these little plugs. So the switch is back here. There's plug points here just next to the switch thing. I'm not sure if you can see the switch. I'll show it better on, I think this guy is easier to see it on. There's these little doodads that you can plug things into. I think it could be for the extra arms or wings or some sort of tail. It looks like a tail attachment goes here. Maybe some sort of head attachment goes on the back of this. I have no idea. So, but these guys do remind me a lot of the old Battle Beasts line. For those who grew up in the 80s, it kind of has that feel to it, but it also has a feel of another old line. I think they were called Connectors by Matchbox, which were a figure line, about 4-inch, maybe 5-inch scale figures that you would pop, mix and match. I think they were called Connectors over here, or they were called something else. I know they had 2 names. In the States, I think they're called something else, or they could be Connectors in the States and they were called something else over here. I can't remember off the top of my head, but if I can find a picture of what I'm on about, I'll throw it up here somewhere in this video. But again, getting back to the articulation on this guy, it's where the legs are. So I'll pop him off his little torso. I was really hoping the legs would be articulated in the double articulation. So you have the hinges, so you can swivel and move the legs. So you can actually kind of make him kind of crab-like, have the legs like that, but he doesn't really balance too well. It does help him if you kind of stretch out the legs. I will say, when I got him in the box first, he was like, his legs were like this, and I thought that they had like malformed him or something, or put him together wrong. But it's intended that you just rotate the legs into the actual position that you need. And hopefully I do this without breaking him. So, so plonk, and then you plug in his torso onto that. Both him and Squiddy Boy here have the same kind of thing, with the exception of Squiddy Boy. And yeah, you can see the switch here is a lot more noticeable on the back of this guy, because this is black on black, whereas this is kind of translucent pink, but with solid pink for the joints. So again, if I rotate his thing around the right way, you have those plugs. They're on all of these, so I'm assuming it's for some sort of attachments or accessories or something that they plug into. But again, you have the same thing with this guy. The sucker, it is nicely detailed. You have the suckers for the squid or octopi or whatever. I think he's more squid than octopus or octopi. He does have that kind of cool squid head. That's one of the reasons I really like this looking dude. If I bring him up closer, hopefully the camera will focus up on it. But he is done in a translucent clear plastic, so I know this is going to be bright-ish. So if I bring my light behind him, you can see how clear he looks. Out of the ones I have, he's the only one that's like this. Again, articulation wise, arms can go up. He has a single jointed elbow with a thing, or a hinge. It is interesting to note on this one, unlike most of the others, because when we get into the rock guy, you'll see a slight difference as well. They has two different style hands, so he has this kind of, it looks like the end of one of the actual smaller sucker things that they have on their face, and then this one just looks like coiled tentacles. But again, he has a pretty cool look. They all have this weird kind of almost fingerprinting on their chest as well. Don't know what that does. It's probably something to do with the QR code that you scan, and it brings you into some sort of game that you scan them and then they fight or something. I have no idea. I just got these because they look kind of cool. And you've got the sharky guy. I call him shark head guy because he literally looks like he has a shark head. Now I will point out, I did do a little bit of customization on this guy. I chucked a bit of black paint. It wasn't perfect, but you can see over here on this corner, it didn't go fully into the corner. But on this side, I put it into the mouth just to make it look like there's a bit of depth to the mouth. I was thinking I might do a black wash over the armor bits as well, just to give him make him look a bit more weathered and interesting looking, because I was thinking of doing that with the rock rhino guy, where I'm going to hold off until I did the review of these guys to actually do any of that. This guy's kind of loosey-goosey on his waist, but again, he was the first one I picked up, and he has all the same thing where you pop, mix and match. Some of them look okay when you mix and match the bits together. Some of them just look ridiculous. But for the legs on this guy, he actually has an articulating knee and a swivel, which is different to both the quadruped or the quadruped, the guys with the 4 legs. So again, same thing. Arms can go up a bit more because he's not as hindered with sculpting and stuff like that, so you can do proper T-pose. The legs on this guy has additional hinges, so you can do that. You can kick forward into a seating position, and he doesn't have any pegs on the bottom of the feet. I don't think any of these guys have peg holes, but he does have the kind of grasping hand. So again, if you have some sort of weapon sort of thing, I don't know if there's actually any weapons for these guys in some of the other boxes, but like he can kind of hold stuff slightly. Not the best, but you know, depends on what you put into his hand. He's not going to really hold, like, this is one of the Batman weapons. He's not going to really hold that too well, but you could maybe put some blue tack or something on it just to make it look like he has a blaster. But other than that, he's not too bad. I do like his little shark head. It looks a little goofy, but I think with a bit of a wash, I think it might make it look a bit more menacing. But originally he looked kind of comedically goofy, and I kind of wasn't a big fan of that. The rhino guy also has that kind of look to him a bit. So if we move things around, the rhino guy is pretty cool. I wasn't a big fan of getting him at first, and then it kind of grew on me. But he has this big, best way to call it, well, there's like, quote, Hellboy, look at the size of that whammer. So he has like huge right hand, and then he has like a more like in proportion left. So it's kind of cool. Again, he does have all the same articulation as the others. Now, he's the only one that I've had an issue with QC on, and I don't know what it is, but if I pop him out here, so I'm not sure if you can see this on screen, but his button here is indented when he has all his bits on him. If I move this guy over, you can see this is flush to his back, so it should line up with these peg holes on either side. This one does not. And when I put this guy together first, so if I put his if I put his head on first, if I put the head on first and then put the legs on, and then move the head, or is it the other way around? I think it's the other way around. Hang on, let me try it. If you put the legs on first and then put the head in, I think it only seems to be working now, but it kept popping out and it was kind of like going like that because that button is not fully flush. The button for the head is not the best, or whichever one it is that's causing it to not stick in. Yeah, there we go. So it does tend to pop out quite easily compared to the others that seem to be more locked in. I don't know if it's the head, because I have tried the head on other ones and it doesn't seem to do that, and then when I put the heads from the others onto this body, it doesn't have an issue with it. So case in point, take the head off this and give him the old ape head. So we take this guy's head off. Oop. Put this guy's head in. You see it doesn't go in. Of course I picked the one guy that has the black on black. We'll do it on this guy. So if I take this guy's head off and put this in, see it doesn't seem to make a difference. If I swap that around, put the head from this guy in, it doesn't, like, that thing is still flush where it should be. Whereas if I put the rhino head back on, it kind of goes in and sits indented for some reason, and I'm not sure what is causing that. It could be just the way there is a spring in the body on these guys, so it could be just whatever tension is on that spring. But it is what it is. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So arms can go up that much on this guy. You have the full 360 as well on the arms. You have single jointed elbow. You get a good over 90-degree bend on this guy's one, so he looks pretty decent. I think I will give him a wash just to pull out that rock look to him a bit more, because he has some nice sculpted details for the rocks. And then you have the single jointed knees. Don't get as much of a bend on the knee as Shark Head Boy, but you do get that swivel again, and you can do the splits as well. So all in all, these aren't too bad figures. Would I buy them full price? I didn't buy them full price. That's why I picked some of these up, because I got these, most of these I got him in Smith's, the rest I got in Tesco. And Tesco have a club card offer. So if you have a Tesco club card, if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a Walmart card for those in the States, or Target card. You know, you get discounts on certain things at certain times of the year. These guys were in that kind of category, so I didn't pay full price for them, so I didn't feel too bad about picking them up. And I didn't want to go too heavy in the line. I just wanted to get one or two, and I really wanted to just get the one or two that I really wanted, like this guy. And I might just try and, if I can, if someone's selling the snake guy on eBay, I might just go that route instead of trying to find them through a blind box stuff, which is kind of annoying. I get the fun of it, but I just want that one figure. I don't really care much for any of the other ones. But saying that, these guys aren't too bad, and they look good, I suppose, with, like, I don't think they'd look too good with kind of like more human characters, but you could get away with maybe Star Wars stuff if you repainted them. Definitely the Batman, the Spin Masters Batman series, you could kind of use them with. To an extent, G.I. Joe. Just trying to look around at other lines that they could work with. I mean, you could, in theory, I know they're kind of different. Well, they are in scale, but they don't look like anything from the Xenos category in 40k. But if you painted them up enough, you could probably get them looking like something that could work in a 40k universe. That could be like some sort of weird, bizarre Xenos, or like something from a Necromunda Underhive that had spilled onto the surface. You know, use your imagination, as they say. They could potentially look good with, if I can dig this guy out without knocking everything over, the Joy Toy Turtles line. They kind of look like kind of mutants to a degree, that you could get away with it that way as well. Especially This guy looks like he could be some sort of mutated version of Gorilla Grodd, so it would kind of work with that Batman line. We could be pushing it for the others, but like if you didn't want to collect that the Mr. Beast line in per se and just get one or two guys just for some background creature, it would look cool. They kind of would look good as some sort of weird creation of Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe as well. But they aren't too bad. They're not hugely articulated, but they are articulated enough in most of the right places to get some kind of cool posing out of them. So it is what it is. But overall, they're not too bad. But as I said, it's up to yourself if you want to buy them. Again, I'm not a big Mr. Beast fan. I'm not promoting any stuff for him. I just picked up a couple of the figures because they were like on sale, literally on sale, and I was like, let's see what they look like and see if they're any good. So for, as I said, they're reasonably decent with an extra couple of paint apps, especially like for this guy and the Rock guy. I think like a couple of washes would really make him pop and make him look somewhat more threatening, I suppose, as opposed to really cartoony and kiddie style. But again, it is what you want to do with them. So there you go, guys. I'm going to wrap this up here. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. I know people aren't the biggest fans of the source material, I suppose is the best way to put it, so you may or may not like this video. From a figure point of view, I think they're decent enough. From any other point of view, it's neither here nor there. But if you want to get them, by all means, no one's stopping you from getting them. And if you like the aesthetic and the look of these guys, some of them are pretty cool. Unfortunately, you are restricted to being blind bag box stuff, so it is random who you're going to get, so there is no guarantee that you will get this cool little squid dude. I was happily impressed to get this guy, although I thought I had lost the sodden head in him, because when I opened the packet, his head went flying off somewhere into the darkness and I thought it was gone for good. But I managed to track it down again, and it is actually pretty cool. He looks like some sort of mutated, like, he looked like he could be some sort of Turtles mutated diver into a squid dude, which is kind of cool. It kind of works that way for me. At least that's what I was going with my head canon. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed it watching this video, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. The subscriptions go a long way to helping support the channel and sharing the video with people who may find this source or this video entertaining, but it will also go a long way. So thanks for watching. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are in the world, and have a great day.